What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today. I do greatly appreciate any time that you guys decide to show up here and just listen to me flap my gums about a whole bunch of nonsense, things I probably know absolutely nothing about. I hope you're all having a very good day today on this wonderful Tuesday morning. Here in Southern California, it's raining. Yeah, it's raining. And believe me, where I live at here on the on the West Coast in Southern California, it doesn't rain that often. It doesn't rain that often, so you got to enjoy it while you can. Although I don't really like all the rainy weather and everything. All the idiots don't know how to drive, and just all those other great things out there that come along with the weather. So anyway, I hope you're all having a very good day today. Now, guys, today's show is going to be very short. I've got some things that I need to get done today. In case you guys don't know, I run my own business, but not only that, I got a doctor's appointment today to go in and see the doctor about a little something. I don't Look, guys. Not gonna sit here and beg for attention or anything. But hey, I've got something that could potentially be serious, going on with me. But you know what? Like, if you guys know me, I'm not the kind of person that's going to be down by any of those kinds of things or anything like that. Even I believe, if I'm right, worst case scenario is, got to go through some treatments and stuff. Best case scenario, hey, they probably cut me open, clip whatever, and and it's all good. It's again, guys, it's nothing major. And like I said, you don't have to, go out there and make a frenzy of it. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, it could be that big of a deal. Okay, it could be that big of a deal, but I'm not really gonna look into it very much. Because you know what, like I'm not really into scare tactics or anything like that, or getting overly scared over nothing. But it is still something to be concerned about. So I will probably let you guys know a little bit more about that later. Like I said, and another thing is these kinds of things, most of the time they're personal. You know what I mean? So I'm not looking for sympathy from anybody or anything. Hell, man, we all have trials and tribulations that we go through in our life. So I don't know. I like to keep my spirits up when it comes to things. In case you guys don't know, last year. God, was it last year already? Yeah, last year in May. Last year in May. No, no, it was in June. Last year in the middle of June, I ended up I got in a crash while I was out riding my bicycle. Broke my collarbone. You can probably still see the scars there and everything. And I bounced back pretty quick from that. I mean, I was back on my bike 10 days later post surgery. So when it comes to things, I try to keep my head right, even when it's something that's potentially scary, like what I'm thinking I'm dealing with right now is potentially scary. You know what I mean? It was scared the shit out of a lot of people, and don't think that I'm not, a little bit scared by it. It's possible it could be bad, but these days, given the doctors and treatments, just all these kinds of things, I've got a pretty positive outlook. But anyway, all that being aside, it says listen to your doctor. Herpes is no joke. You know what? It's true. Herpes is no joke. So yeah, I hear you, Chillmonger. Thank you for being here. Kobe Reviews Movies. Thank you so much for being here. So today, guys, what I want to do is I just want to pose a few questions for you all to see what you guys think about the new Black Widow movie getting ready to come out. The trailer just dropped yesterday. And I've heard all this chatter, and I've looked into these things to try to find out what there is could possibly be out there going on with this movie. And it seems like pretty much the consensus is, everybody kind of feels like the Black Widow movie is going to be a prequel. But I'm here to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think the Black Widow trailer is the Black Widow movie is going to be a prequel? You know, it would seem to make sense. It would seem to make sense that it's going to be a prequel, given the fact that Black Widow's dead, right? She's dead. So how could a movie that's coming out after Avengers Endgame be a prequel or not be a prequel, right? Right? Or am I? Or could that be wrong? Could that be wrong? When because I was digging into this because last night on some black guys in a drunk in the middle of while we were conversating and everything, somebody was talking about and as a matter of fact, I think by that point I had left the show. I had to get my kids ready for dinner, cook them dinner and everything. But I started to wonder, like, whoever said that Black Widow is a prequel? Is it a prequel? You know what I mean? Is it a prequel? I think the events of this, some of it obviously will take place, I believe, before Avengers Endgame, possibly, obviously, probably before we ever even met Natasha Romanoff's character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But that in itself doesn't necessarily mean that it's a prequel, even if some of the events of the movie, apparently it's been said, and there's no exact quote out there that I can find, that Kevin Feige said that this movie is somewhat set after the events. God, what was it? Before, was it before Civil War? Right after Civil War? Um, and I'm kind of starting to question that, just judging by some of the things in this trailer, and also some of the things that I know about the character from the comic book. Let's see what else? Who else we got here? Maverick Pilgrim, thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Snowdub Music and Entertainment says, "I made it. I'm I'm up in time for the morning show. I am True Skills. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Um, I am True Skills. You just dropped a video recently, and I just watched it yesterday. Um, Chillmonger says, because it starts with Steve returning the Soul Stone and getting Natasha's soul in return. Um, Maverick Pilgrim says, is it a post-quel? And the trailer would have... Chillmonger says the trailer would have told us it was a prequel, and that's kind of what I feel too. Now the thing is everybody said like, "Oh, Kevin Feige at Comic Con said this," and all I can say is there's no exact quotes from Kevin Feige there. You go and you watch the little thing that they had on San Diego Comic Con on the Disney Plus streaming service. He don't mention the Black Widow movie. There's really not a whole lot of talk about it other than, things that he said there in San Diego Comic Con. And in case you don't know, they take your cell phones. You can't do, I don't know. They must do something there where you're not getting a whole bunch of that stuff to just be broadcasting to people when you get there into Hall H. But so largely, a lot of people are saying that Kevin Feige had said that, and a lot of these reports were that I think a lot of these reports I actually found were from before Comic Con, where where he was talking about the kind of the time placement of this movie. But again, just from the words that I could find that he said, doesn't actually confirm that it's a prequel. Okay, I have several reasons to believe that it's not a prequel. For one, I mean, a prequel story would have been cool, cooler, like a lot sooner in the MCU. But not only that, Natasha's not really a superhero, so do we really need a prequel for her? I think, we know a little bit of her past, I think at the beginning of this, we get a little bit of her past, and then we get probably some events that happened and led up to maybe Civil War, maybe after Civil War, and then post Avengers Endgame. And this is just something I truly believe. And I have quite a few reasons for believing that this isn't a prequel movie. Now, some of those theories kind of have to do with theories that I have for other films, other TV shows that are getting ready to come out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and just even on the Disney Plus streaming service. But one of the arguments, that's what I've heard. Is everybody saying, "Oh, well, Kevin Feige said so." I can't find the quote from Kevin Feige. Somebody else says, "Oh, well, everybody else is reporting that. It's being reported, but reported by who? And who is their source? Is it one of those inside sources, one of those infamous inside sources that we got this covered has?" The thing is I don't take those things too seriously. I don't look into those as being any kind of seriousness or anything like that. Now, the thing is, this trailer, not all of it looks prequel. Somebody pointed out, like, oh, like in the trailer, they've got these vehicles and they're from 2017. Like, okay. I'll tell you one thing. I don't buy a new car every year. You know what I mean? I doubt Shield buys new cars every year. I'm sure they probably do. Maybe they do. I don't know. But obviously we know that a lot of these movies are also used to promote cars that are coming out like in the future and things like that. I guess you could say well placed kind of ads, if you will. But here, if we got vehicles from 2017, that just means okay. So obviously they're not pushing car ads in this movie, but that's really all it means. It doesn't mean that it's taking place in 2017 or after 2017 or even in 2018. So it just kind of made me, question like, is this movie a prequel? I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is. And also, just so many other things. I've seen people out there even, looking at things, and people, I don't know, people just never take these things into account. People are looking at the people are looking at the trailer and saying, "Oh, like her hair, her hair is this length and that length." If you go back and look at the movies, this is okay. Okay, guys, let's calm down with that. For one, we know that Marvel actually goes out there and plays tricks with their trailers and stuff like that to try to fool us. Her hair length doesn't mean anything, okay? Her hair length doesn't mean anything for a number of reasons. For one, they could have changed it digitally. They could do that. They could change it, go through there, do a little effects, change your hair there in the trailer. But I mean, the other thing, I mean, it could just be a flashback. Could just be a flashback, right? Could just be a flashback. But the other thing is she's a spy. She's a spy. her her job is to be a master of disguise. Her job is to put on different disguises and things like that to make herself look different, to change the way she appears and things like that. So hearing about her hair length and all this stuff, and I thought the same thing going into Avengers Endgame. People were all talking like, "Oh, look at her hair length and all this stuff." And guys, for one, they digitally touch these trailers. They do that to try to fool us. And two, she's a spy. All right, she's a spy. And my argument against this movie, against this movie being a prequel, another thing that people are pointing out is, oh, she's dead. She's dead. She's dead. Right? That's easily thrown out the window too, because if you know anything about the character, you know that, I mean, especially recently, she was actually just reborn in the Red Room. Yeah, she's brought back to life as a clone with implanted memories from her previous self. Yeah, yeah. Does that seem like something so hard? Something that's like out of the stretch of the imagination, given all the technology that Tony Stark himself has used, given all the technology that they even have in Wakanda, given all the technology that, well, even the Soviet Union, whether they're working by themselves in Russia, or even whether it's Hydra or anything like that, is this technology they don't possess to do something like that? Come on, guys. Come on. And I can't talk too much about it because I do have theories about this that I want to present out there. Obviously, in the trailer, we see Thaddeus Ross as well. He's looking young. He's looking young. Yeah, looking young and yeah, a little de-aged there. But that's something they could have easily just done for the trailer as well, right? But also, that young scene could obviously be when they first approached Natasha, and first bring her in, first cross paths with her as Shield, where she was, maybe fighting against him, maybe going out, had a hit out on Nick Fury or anything like that. Um, so yeah. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think that this movie is a prequel? Do you think like I am, like this movie is going to cover, a range of different periods, but think that it's going to end up happening after Avengers Endgame? For me, that's just kind of what I personally believe. I believe that this is going to happen after Avengers Endgame. Now, another thing that a lot of people have been talking about is, Black Widow. This movie is so overdue. This should have been a long time ago, and all this and that, and la 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 la. Um, I don't feel the same there necessarily. I do think that this movie should have come earlier, but how much earlier? I mean, obviously, this isn't a Phase One movie. Obviously, the Black Widow, it's not a Phase One movie. This movie should have never been in Phase One. You know what I mean? But then I think the optimal time to have done a Black Widow movie, standalone movie, would have been right after Avengers Age of Ultron. That would have been the optimum place to put it. And also, not really neither, because you see, like the first two phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe were as they were building their catalog and building their heroes up. And technically, while she is a hero, she's not one of the superheroes out there in the world. So, I think its optimal placement might be exactly where it's at. It might be exactly where it's at. Could it have come sooner? Yes. Should it have? Yes. But is this the right placement for this particular movie? I think, given what's going to happen in the movie, what I think could be happening in this movie, I think this might be a good spot for it. Might be a good spot for it. And this is one of the movies I've been eagerly anticipating coming out in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway, because Black Widow has obviously become one of my favorite characters in the MCU. And not only that, but in the comics as well. You guys know, that I've been fanboying over the recent No Restraints Play trade paperback that the Soska sisters wrote. Absolutely great comic book. I can't stress it. You guys, I've flapped my gums enough about that comic book here on this channel. But this is a book that you guys should go read. It's not a book that Disney will ever make. For one, it's very full of violence as she is out hunting down child molesters and human traffickers in Madripoor. Madripoor is not a good place. I almost honestly can't even really picture Disney covering Madripoor at all. But there would be a lot of guns and violence and things like that that would happen to happen in the No Restraints Play movie if they were to ever do that. But I don't think they're ever going to do that. Just kind of like I don't think that a Punisher movie is going to be a very viable thing for Disney to do. I mean, because they would like to keep things PG-13, and I just don't see them doing it rated R. It would be nice because that's where Punisher belongs. But largely, that's just me and just what I believe. I could absolutely be wrong here. So I'm not going to go for a whole lot longer. Like I said, guys, I got a doctor's appointment today. I got some other things that I've got to go get done. But we're going to stay on for another few more minutes and scroll here through the live chats. And if you guys have any theories of your own, let me know. I promise I won't use them and pass them off on as my own. That's just not what I do here. But I do want to hear them. Any thoughts that you guys might have on this stuff. And yeah, Chillmonger, you're right. I think the trailer would have told us it was a prequel. I'm True Skill says, I think my video sucked, but I tried. Nah, man, you do good. You do a good job, dude. You do. You really do. Aggressively Relaxed, he says, I'm really looking forward to the awkward conversation Cap and Red Skull have to have. So, how have you been? Right? Yeah, definitely. Chillmonger says it's about her family. She's enlightened on her dad Ivan during Endgame. She must be digging for answers. I think that's somewhat true. I think that's somewhat true. We should run with it and say that her father is Ivan Vanko. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's somewhat about her family. But let me ask you: do you think that Yelena Belova is her sister? Do you think that the other Black Widow, Rachel Weisz's character that we see in the trailer, do you think that's her mother or maybe her sister as well? I have some theories about that of my own too. Part of my theory is just given off of what I've already told you guys is could that possibly have been Natasha Romanoff from before, and she got the implanted memories in her from yeah. Because I was reading up, like I don't know a whole lot about the Red Guardian character, but apparently Natasha Romanoff, and it may have been Romanova in the comic books at the time, was actually married to the guy who becomes the Red Guardian. Yeah, she was this particular character. She was actually married to him in the comic books for a time. And again, I don't know. I didn't read the comic books. I was just kind of looking it up online. I'm like, hey, what about this character? Looking up for some issues that I need to go read to find out about this character. So I will be doing that probably here shortly in the future. But altogether, this raises a lot of flags for me. You know what I'm saying? Just so many questions to be asked here. Maverick Pilgrim says maybe it takes place in Nat's mind, either in the Soul Stone or in her mind as she is falling and entering the Soul Stone. That easily could be. That easily could be. Um, Now I actually have some other theories that kind of involve some other characters and other things that happened in Avengers Endgame that also play into other movies and series that are coming up later. So I have my own theories about that, and I don't want to put them all out here right now. I need to gather all my thoughts and get these things going on here. Chillmonger says, "Add aggressively relaxed." It says, "Conversation? No, that's a full blown battle." Yeah, it'd be interesting seeing Cap and Red Skull go at it, especially at that time because at that point, Red Skull on Vormir isn't necessarily an enemy of his. Somebody he doesn't really necessarily have to fight. At that particular point, so it would be interesting though to see what would go on. Maverick Pilgrim says, I think this movie will jump around in time, actually set up the Mandarin and the Ten Rings storyline. Agreed? I agree with that. Sir Nerdalot, thank you for being here. Says, the Bears. Yes. The Bears. That's right. Black Angus Reviews, what's up? He says, I'm here, baby. Oh, yeah. Bangus, what's up, my brother? I'm True Skill says, you think they will introduce Red Skull in this movie? Ooh. And that's the question right there. Is it Red Hulk that's going to be introduced, or are we getting the Thunderbolts? Honestly, with all my theories, I think the Thunderbolts fit in there a little bit better, but Red Hulk certainly is a viable option to pick. But yeah, I don't know. Maverick Pilgrim says wigs were invented in 2016, so still could work. Aggressively Relaxing says Shield comes flying, hits Red Skull. Hey, what's the hell, man? You are the Red Skull. I'm Captain America. We fight. Okay, I guess. I'm not sure this is fair. I really haven't kept in shapes. That's funny. Wu-Tang Well says prequel, brother. I believe it will cover years leading up to Endgame, and it very well could. I'm not saying you're wrong, but my prediction is that a lot of this probably takes place in our current time, if not our current time, but I mean like the current time of like Avengers Endgame, like after that, and somebody else was saying in the chats last night was like, oh well, Hulk said in Avengers Endgame that no matter how much he tried before he snapped, he couldn't bring her back, and things like that. And I have an easy answer for that too. Why couldn't you bring her back, right? Why couldn't you unsnap and bring her back? Aside from the fact that her soul was traded for the Soul Stone, but why couldn't you bring her back? Could it be because she wasn't dead? Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. I'm just saying. Maybe she wasn't dead. Maybe she wasn't dead. Black Angus Reviews says maybe this is a multiverse movie, and it could. It easily could be, and that kind of somewhat plays into the theory that I have. Snowdub Music says all they had to do was say it was ScarJo and leather, and I was sold. Oh yeah, exactly. I seen your video, Snowdub. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you 100% there, my brother. Yes, yes. So much yes. Wu Tang Well says if anything is after Endgame is setting up Yelena Belova as her replacement as either an Avenger, a Thunderbolt, a government appointed Dark Avenger. Yeah, easily could be. Easily could be. Chillmonger says, I read issue number 1, way too mature for me. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Wu Ting Well says it's setting up. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I got you. I think I got you there. Joe Lau, good morning. How are you doing today? Wu Ting Well says, no one knows much about the Red Guardian due to his only in a few comic runs as a supporting character who ultimately dies pretty quickly after being introduced. Yep, and you know what they're going to do is they're going to take that character and build him up to be more than he was in the comic books. It's just going to happen. I mean, and that's cool, I mean, bring attention to smaller characters. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, yeah. I think, you know, yeah, that as in saying that, I think that's the hard thing about finding out who he was. But I think that's probably the key to some of the mystery surrounding this movie is who he is, what he done, and some of those kinds of things. I think, yeah. I'm True Skill says I did a brief breakdown of the characters in the trailer. Nice, nice. Aggressively relaxing says 10 rings, 10 Eternals. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, could very well be. Are there 10 Eternals? I honestly don't know. So, I mean, you could be right. You could be right. But anyway, guys, that's some of the questions I have for you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna cut this a little bit short today. But let me know down in the comments below, either here during the live stream or even come back later. You can even reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and answer that question. Give me any of the responses that you might have. Because I mean, do you think this movie is a prequel? If you do think it's a prequel, why do you think it's a prequel? And like I said, I was looking for words from Kevin Feige that said it's confirmed to be a prequel. I haven't found any. I haven't found any out there where it's been said. Just a lot of assumptions that people are making, which hey, that's fine. I'm making a lot of assumptions. Now, my assumptions aren't necessarily baseless because I take and build my theories off of things that we have seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in the movies. So there's that. So, like I said, reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter and answer me any of those questions. Do you think that Natasha Romanoff is dead? Is actually, in fact, dead? Do you think this takes place in the future? What do you think about this upcoming movie? I can guarantee you, I don't know, man. I've got a lot of questions, and I've definitely got a lot of theories brewing up here inside of my brain. So anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to cut it short today. Thank you all so much for being here. I got to head to the doctor, get some stuff done for my business, have a busy day. It's new comic book day, so I got to get home and get some more comic books read. Coming up, I'm going to be doing some reviews of the 2099 issues that released today, as well as the Annihilation Scourge. Issues that released as well, and then I will get into some more of like the indie books and stuff like that I have for the week, which I gotta say, it seems like it was somewhat of a slow week for me. Somewhat of a small week, and the one of the things is we got that last issue of Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple, issue number 5. So I'm curious to see how this last book, kind of ties in to the video game, because reading this comic book was kind of a great introduction into the video game itself. So anyway, that's all I got for this video today, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell, and all of that good stuff. Make sure you share this video with a friend and ask them to come here and leave some comments down below in the comment section about what maybe some of their theories are. And don't worry, if I use anybody's theories, I will always give credit where that credit is due. Now, there are some things out there, like I've talked about before, where some of the things are obvious that everybody's going to be talking about in their theories. So anyway, you all have a very good day. I'll give you an update later on exactly what I've been talking about here with my doctor's visit and stuff like that, guys. You all have a good one, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.